Hey guys, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Unlimited. And this is the wrap up. It's all those stories and news we put out on social media throughout the day that haven't yet made it to YouTube, all wrapped up into one. Let's get started. First off, we're going to tell you about a rumor that was broke by Justin LaBar of WrestleZone. He said, and I quote, "Hearing backstage hashtag WWE Fight took place overseas involving repeat offender. Have doubts on if he has leverage to work in his favor." Now, after that tweet got sent out, everybody was online. Who can it be? Who can it be? Is it Sin Cara again? Is it Sheamus? Is it Simon Gotch? And from what I've heard, it could have. Now, this isn't for sure confirmed or anything, but what everybody's saying, it's between Chris Jericho and Sin Cara. If you remember, Sin Cara got into a backstage scuffle with Simon Gotch earlier this year, and Chris Jericho had an altercation with Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. Next up, the WWE is looking to add 2 new collections to the WWE Network. The first one is a continuation. It is Austin vs. McMahon Part 2. This will recap even more in the historic feud between the Texas Rattlesnake and his boss, Mr. McMahon. The second collection will be called Randy Savage, Cream of the Crop, and it'll celebrate the storied career of the WWE Hall of Famer, and they say that there might be some stuff that we've never seen before, stuff that we may have forgotten about, and other Randy Savage stuff that we all love. Next up, if you're fans of the Edge and Christian show, we may have some good news for you. Now, WWE, since they aired the first season, haven't made any mention of a second season. Well, Edge and Christian posted these photos this week on social media, and it shows them brainstorming ideas for Season 2. Now, I don't know if this means Season 2 has been given the okay, have been given the green light, the approval, or if they have to brainstorm ideas and then pitch it to the WWE. But if they're even working on ideas for a Season 2, that is good news. Next up, a lot of people have been asking me, are they going to add Neville to the Cruiserweight division? Is Neville going to finally go get that push he deserves on the main roster? And as of right now, no. There are no plans in place for Neville to be pushed or to be put in the Cruiserweight division. And to be honest, from everything I'm being told, there's no plans at all for Neville on the main roster. And that's bad because, yeah, he's an NXT guy. He came up from NXT and they really didn't use him that well. But he's a former NXT champion, and we've seen this with other former NXT champions like Bo Dallas, where they were pushed as the top guy in NXT. They were doing great. They come to the main roster and Vince has nothing for them. Vince doesn't use them at all, and they just float to the wayside. It's very upsetting when you see how well they did in NXT, and now that I don't know if it's just the fact of Vince doesn't watch NXT, so we didn't know how well they were doing down there. But as of right now, there's no plans to move Neville to the Cruiserweight division, and there's really no plans for him at all on the main roster. And finally, the main story in this edition of the wrap-up. We told you earlier today that Scott Hall kinda went missing. He was supposed to go to an event Saturday night for Dreamwave and never showed up. He never even went to the airport and never got on the plane. When they tried to call, text, get in touch with him, he wasn't responding whatsoever. Well, Diamond Dallas Page has actually updated us on this story, and he says, I quote, "I haven't talked to Scott Hall yet because I'm in Dominican Republic at a DDP yoga workshop, but from what I've understand, he is okay." So that's good news. We know that nothing happened to Scott per se that's bad. Diamond Dallas Page would not have gone on record saying that he's okay if he knew anything or didn't know anything. If he knew anything, I guess that was bad. If something happened to Scott, he wasn't going to go on record saying, everything's fine, don't worry. So that's a good sign that he's not missing. People know where he is. Diamond hasn't talked to him yet, but he's in contact with him, I guess, somehow. So that's very good news, and now we all know that, hey, all you people on Twitter saying, oh, he died, He didn't die. He's going to be fine. We should know more on this story most likely later on in this week or early this week. And if we find anything out, we'll let you guys know. But that's going to do it for this edition of the Wrap Up. To find all these stories before they hit YouTube, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Remember, guys, comment below, like, and share this video. Like us on Facebook, and subscribe here on YouTube.